Next up, we have Caitlin Winkley. And Caitlin Winkley attended Naropa from 2006 to 2009. She graduated with a BA in early childhood education. She now works with women all over the world, helping them reach their fullest potential by running retreats, doing one-on-one life coaching, as well as facilitating trainings. Her talk is called Stepping into Your Leadership. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hello, everyone. In 2014, I got an eviction notice posted on my front door. Around that same time, my dad was in the process of dying from an incurable terminal illness. So as you can imagine, I got this huge wake-up call. It was though the universe was saying to me, girl, you got a boss up in your life. It's time for you to start to take the lead in your life in a whole new way. But before I get to any of that, let me tell you about my relationship with my dad. There's 3 pieces to our dynamic that you need to know. Piece number 1, my dad was a protector. I grew up in East Haddam, Connecticut, and in my family, there's 5 siblings. I'm the only girl, and I'm the youngest. So, as you can imagine, my dad was extremely protective of me. Thing number 2 about our dynamic. My dad was incredibly generous. He was very giving with his time, his money, his guidance. He was always quick to lend an ear anytime I had something I wanted to talk about. So in particular with me, being the youngest and the only girl, he was very giving of his finances in particularly. Thing number 3, when you look at thing number 1, that my dad was a real protector, and then you look at thing number 2, that my dad was a real giver, you get thing number 3, which is that I really leaned on my dad as the main source of support in my life. He was always there to bail me out. When I had a hard time making ends meet, he was always there to give me extra money if I couldn't pay the rent that month. He was there to help me with practical things like how to register a car, how to do taxes, how to have a hard conversation. So those are the 3 dynamics with my dad. Back to the eviction notice. So here my dad is getting ready to leave the planet, and here posted on my door is a notice that basically the universe is saying to me in physical form, Caitlin, you're not stepping up in life. See, there was many beautiful things about my bond with my dad, but one really unhealthy thing, like I said, is that I leaned on him for support instead of learning how to support myself. So I got the call. I was ready to step up. I was ready to boss up. I was ready to learn how to support myself. I was willing to do whatever it took to learn how. Around that time, I had already started my life coaching business. It was just really the early stages, though, and I kind of knew what I was doing, but not really. I did the best I could with the skills I had at the time, but it wasn't really run that well. So like I said, I was ready to learn. I was ready to learn to show up in my life in a new way. Having attended Naropa in 2006, I already had learned some skills and tools that I knew I could start applying. See, the problem here is I had learned it. I had an intellectual understanding, but I hadn't quite embodied it yet, and I hadn't quite started implementing yet. One of the biggest concepts that I learned at Naropa was this thing that Naropa talks about all the time, basic goodness. Basic goodness means that deep down, we are all inherently good. We all have this inherent worth. There's nothing we can do to ever alter that worth, ever. And guess what? You don't need to be any different than you already are right now sitting in your seat in order to access that worth. So I took that understanding, and then I started to expand upon that. I worked with coaches of my own, I did my own therapy, I did other educational trainings, and I really learned how to implement, get in touch with that basic goodness, get in touch with my sense of self-worth, and start to show up like a boss in my life. As a result, my life coaching started to rapidly grow. I started to quadruple my revenue. Eviction notices, are you kidding me? Like, that's not even a thing, right? So I also, now I lead retreats all over the world. I work with women all over the world doing one-on-one coaching. I'm a really highly sought after, renowned professional in my field. Now I'm going to share with you the steps that I took to get me to where I am today. This is what I call stepping into your leadership. Step number 1 of stepping into your leadership, actually, hold on, I'm going to back up. First, I'm going to define what it means to be a leader. To be a leader is somebody who commands or leads a group. Someone who commands or leads a group. So we know what that means if, you're a CEO, you're a politician, you hold a management position at your job. That's pretty obvious. But what does it mean to lead or command when it comes to just you, right? Because we can lead or command a group, and we can lead and command ourselves. So when I explain stepping into your leadership, I'm going to be talking about how to lead a group and how to lead yourself. So step number 1. First, you have to identify your vision, okay? If you don't know what your target is, how do you know where to aim? So you need to identify your vision. So if this applies to a group and you are a business owner, what is the mission statement of your business? What are your guiding principles? What are your core values? What are your revenue goals? What's the impact that you want your company to make on the world? Identify your vision. When it comes to yourself, what's your life vision? What are your goals? What's the version of yourself that you haven't quite stepped into, but that you want to? What's the new life story that you want to inhabit for yourself? Identify your vision. Step 2, after you identify your vision, you need to mobilize people toward your vision. That, my friends, means you need to move forward towards your vision. So how that's applicable to a group is if you're a business owner, you've identified the vision of your business. Now, how are we going to have people that show up and work for you on your behalf actively want to move towards the company vision? In other words, how are they going to show up and do a good job? So when it comes to yourself, how do you mobilize yourself towards your vision? That means you have to take action. You identify your vision. Now you have to actively start showing up in your life now you have to actively start showing up in your life in a way where each step you take is moving you towards your vision. Action steps. So now how do we mobilize people towards a vision? The first step that we have to do is we have to model it. So within a business, if you're asking your employees to show up a certain way, you got to show up that way. You need to be what you are promoting. You need to model that company culture. You need to model, if you set up high revenue goals, you need to be the first one to work and the last one to leave. You need to model how you want the group to show up towards that vision. Now, when it comes to your own life, you got to model this for yourself. So if you set a goal and you haven't quite reached that goal yet, you got to kind of fake it till you make it. If one of your goals is, I want to feel more confident in who I am, and you're not totally there yet, you're a little bit shaky, you got to just kind of pretend. You just got to kind of fake it until you make it. And you have to talk to friends as that version, or people in your community or whoever, of who you want to be. You have to start to step into that new behavior, even though it doesn't feel right. So it might feel like you're wearing a size too big of shoes, and that is okay. So you have to start modeling it to yourself and others. The second part of how you start to mobilize people towards your vision, again, we've identified the vision, now we're moving people towards it. And the first step I said is modeling, and now we move to inspiration. You need to inspire people in your company to want to show up in a way that supports the vision. And how you inspire people is you have to show up as your highest, truest self in front of them, because guess what? People get inspired by high levels of functionality. If you are functioning on the highest level possible, they're going to be inspired to function on the highest level possible. So you need to inspire the people in your business to want to move towards that business vision. How that works for yourself is you got to get yourself inspired. So whether that is getting therapy, working with a coach, reading books, listening to podcasts, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, whatever it takes for you to inspire yourself to move towards your goals. All right. In conjunction with these steps of leadership, in my company, we talk about something called boss moves. Boss moves are ways of being. I'm going to go over these with you as well, as it's very important to leadership. Boss moves number 1, how you inhabit physical space. So every time you walk into a room, are you walking into a room like you were meant to be here? Are you sitting in your chair right now like you were meant to be sitting in that seat? Or are you sitting in your chair kind of apologizing for being here, right? We want to walk around and take up our physical space like we mean it, like we are meant to be here. Under taking up physical space is also tone of voice. Are you talking from your core? Are you talking in a way where you're believing everything that you say because it is connected from your truth and that truth is coming out in your tone of voice? Or are you talking kind of unsure with a question? Are you apologizing? Are you asking other people if it's okay? Right? We want to take up our physical space to the fullest. Boss moves number 2, charisma. So charisma has absolutely nothing to do with what you look like, what you're wearing, how much money you have, how much success you have, none of that. Charisma has everything to do with how well you lean into your perceived flaws. Because guess what? We all have them. Whatever you deem as an imperfection or a flaw, you need to lean into it. Don't try to cover it up or make it go away or be jealous, wish you had that thing that that person has, but you don't have it. No. The most charismatic people on the planet are the ones who are leaning into their perceived flaws. Boss moves number 2, having difficult conversations. Ooh, this one is good. Guess what, guys? Ghosting somebody doesn't make them go away. Avoiding having that difficult conversation doesn't make that issue go away. In fact, it makes it worse because in the back of your mind, you know there's that thing that you need to do that you're not doing. And that takes up so much extra energy because unconsciously it just sits there and sits there and sits there until you deal with it. Instead, face it head on. Have that difficult conversation, free up that energy, then use that energy to go on and crush it. Boss moves number 3. Showing up when you don't feel like it. Hey, we're at Naropa right now, and I know we all get a lot of feelings. But let me tell you what, you're never going to feel like doing it. If you wait until you feel like doing it, you will be waiting forever. So what you need to do is just do it. Do not wait until you feel like it. Do it. Boss moves number, I think we're on 3. I think we are on number 3. Okay. Emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is when you take the emotionality out of decision making and out of life decisions. What that looks like is, let's say you get an email or a phone call or a text and you're triggered and you're fired up. So instead of just immediately responding knee-jerk, you take the emotionality out of it. So you hit the pause button, and then what you do is you want to talk to someone who I call a neutralizer. A neutralizer is just basically somebody who you can get it all out to, and they're going to respond to you in a way that does not add fuel to the fire. We all have those friends that are going to rev you up, add drama, add fuel to the fire. You don't want to talk to those people. You want to talk to, you know what I'm talking about, sister. I got you. You want to talk to the person that is your neutralizer. So here's what I want you to do right quick. I want you to get out your cell phones. Come on, I know you got them. Get them out. And I want you to find that friend that is your neutralizer. Right here. And I want you to write in her name or his name, neutralizer. The next time you have emotional freak out, I want you to text your neutralizer friend. Your neutralizer friend is going to get you in the right energy to then be able to respond. Do not text your friend Joyce. Joyce is for manis and petties. Joyce is for going out to happy hour. Joyce is the friend that's the drama friend. You know what I'm talking about. That is going to add fuel to the fire. You don't want to text her. You want to text the neutralizer. Okay? So, if I could leave you with one thing to take away from this talk today, it is that inside every single one of you, you all have the potential to lead. So whether that is becoming a leader in your life on a personal growth level, or whether that's you feel a calling to lead a business, be a leader in your community, in your family, in your peer group, you have the potential to do that as well. You have the basic goodness, you have the inherent worth. So have that difficult conversation. Show up when you don't feel like it. Identify your vision and text your neutralizer friends. Thank you.